All right, so this is part 2 of the 3-5 lesson. And so if you haven't seen part 1 yet, you want to go do that first. So we're continuing with the continuity test. And so we want to figure out, is the function here continuous at x is equal to 1? So if you remember, the first step is going to be to substitute x is equal to 1 into the function. So f of 1 is going to be 1 cubed minus 2 times 1 plus 2. So you could you could plug that into your calculator, or you can work this out. I've got 1 minus 2 plus 2, and so that's going to give me 1. So 1 is my y value. So then the second thing is we're going to get xy charts, and one side is going to come from the left, meaning these are going to be values less than 1. So a value less than 1 would be like 0.9. And then a little closer to 1 is going to be 0.999, and then 3 nines gets me even closer to 1. Whereas on the right-hand side, to the right of 1 is going to be something like 0.1. So notice here I just subtract 1/10, and here I add 1/10. And then I get a little closer, 1.01 and 1.001. Remember, if you put ones in those spots, you're actually making it bigger and not smaller. All right, so you're going to plug this into your calculator. So this is how you're going to do it. You're going to do parentheses, plug in your x value, and then you're going to close your parentheses. And then you either have a power button that looks like a hat, or you might have a y to the x button or something like that, but you're going to push that button and say you want it to the third power. Then you're going to say minus 2, and then times your x value. And you could use parentheses or you could just use times. And then you have plus 2. So I'm going to pause my video. You pause your video, plug these values in, and see what you get. All right, so I went ahead and plugged those in, and I got these values. This last one was something like 0.9999 something. So I went ahead and rounded that to 1.00. And then again, I plugged these in, and the last one was something like 1.0010. And so I just went ahead and rounded that one as well. And so I noticed that both of these are approaching 1. So it's approaching a y value of 1 from the left, and it's approaching a y value of 1 from the right. So the third step again is to determine, is this y value here the same as the y values that these two are approaching? So if all three of those numbers are the same, then we can say yes, that the function is continuous at x is equal to 1. And again, we can't say it's continuous everywhere because we don't know that. And if you don't believe me, you can test it on Desmos and see if it's true. All right, so see what you can do with number 4. Go ahead and pause the video and give that one a try. So the first step again is to substitute -4. So we're going to get y is equal to -4 minus 2 over -4 plus 4. So if we keep change, my numerator gives me -6 and my denominator gives me 0. And so remember we talked about whether something was no versus okay. So in this case, because the 0's in the denominator, that's a no. And what that means is it's undefined. And it's said in the continuous ruling that if it's undefined, then that means that it's not continuous at x is equal to -4. So let me show you what that looks like on Desmos. All right, so I went ahead and graphed the function, and so something you'll notice is it is a smooth continuous function already. So most polynomials, I think all polynomials where there's no x's in the denominator are typically continuous. And so then if I add in the line x is equal to 1, then at this point we are at 1, 1 like we predicted. And as we come from the right, our x values are approaching 1. And as we come, sorry, that was the left. And as we come from the right, our x values are approaching 1. All right, so this one can get a little tricky. If you notice that what we are trying to find continuity with respect to is also that break in our domain where I have one graph to one side of it and another graph to the other. So either the two graphs meet up at the same point and I don't have to pick up my pencil, or they don't meet up at the same point and I have jump discontinuity. So let's take a look. So we need to figure out what is f of 2. And this is where people give me a bunch of different answers. So I want to be clear. The only domain that equal to 2 is a part of, x equal to 2, is this bottom one. So if you plug it into the top one, and that's great that you get an answer, but it has absolutely nothing to do with the fact when x is equal to 2. So x equal to 2 only occurs in that bottom equation. So I'm going to use 2 minus the x value of 2, and that gives me 0. So I did find a y value, which means I'm going to move on to the next step. So that was step 1. So step 2 is I have to pick y values coming from the left of 2. So if we think about this on a number line, if this is 2, if I subtract 1/10, I get 1.9. And if I add 1/10, I get 2.1. So from the left, I get 1.9, 1.99, and 1.999. And then coming from the right, I have 2.1, and then a little closer is 0.1, and even closer still is 0.001. So then again, we've got to be careful. So recognize these are values when x is less than 2, and these are values greater than 2. So where x is less than 2, I'm going to use y is equal to 2 minus x. And where x is greater than 2, I have to use y is equal to 3x minus 2. If you mix that up, then you're not testing this function, you're testing a different function. So again, greater than 2 are the values from the right, and so I'm using y equals 3x minus 2. And then x values less than 2, which these are going to be using the function y equals 2 minus x. So take a moment in your calculator, substitute each of your x values, and then come back here to see if you got the right answers. All right, so I got these values, and what I noticed on the left is my y values were getting closer and closer and closer to 0, and that's good news because I had a y value of 0 here, and now I have a y value of 0 here. But the problem is over here, these are getting closer and closer and closer to 4. And do you see that 4 does not match the other two? And so because they don't all match, we have to say that it's not continuous at x is equal to 2. And so I went ahead and I graphed what this looks like. Let's see if I can fit this on here the best that I can. So we had a break in the graph at x is equal to 2. So I had a domain to the left where x is less than 2 and a domain to the right where x is greater than 2. So I graphed the line y equal negative x plus 2 on the left, and on the right I graphed y equals 3x minus 2. And again here, I get a closed circle for my left graph and an open circle for my right graph. So that's why at f of 2, I had to be at 0. I can't pick either one. And then we can see that as I'm coming from the left, my y value is approaching 0. And as I'm coming from the right, my y value is approaching 4. So at some point in time, I had to pick up my pencil, hop up here or jump up here, and then continue. So it's not continuous at x is equal to 2, and we would call that jump discontinuity. Okay, so another thing that we can use to talk about how to graph or analyze a graph without XY charts is talking about end behavior. What is happening as x gets really large or really small? So when they say as the absolute value of x becomes greater and greater, that's what they're saying. So positive would be to the right and negative would be to the left. So notice here, as x goes to the right, the y value is going up, and here as x goes to the left, the y value is going down. Okay. So end behavior describes what the y value is going to do as the absolute value of x becomes greater and greater. So when we see x arrow and an infinity sign, the way we say that is as x approaches infinity. So recognize that infinity is an idea. It's not a number. So we're never going to actually reach infinity because you could always add 1. But as we get bigger and bigger and bigger, what's happening to y? If we see x arrow and a negative infinity, then that's saying as x approaches negative infinity. So x approaching positive infinity is looking to the right, and x approaching negative infinity looks to the left. So you notice on this right side here, they're saying x approaches positive infinity, and because it's going up, then that means y is also approaching positive infinity. So up for y is positive infinity. And then on the left, as x is becoming more and more negative, meaning x is approaching negative infinity, The y values are going down, so this is saying f of x or y is approaching negative infinity. So down is going to be negative infinity. All right, so don't get scared because we're not going to have to use this whole thing. So it's saying, in general, the end behavior of any polynomial function can be modeled by that function down below, but it's only that highest exponent of x that I need to figure out my end behavior. So if I just pick out that a sub n times x to the n power, and a sub n is just the coefficient, it's just a number, and n is going to be the highest power of x, that's all I need to figure out my end behavior. So what it means, for example, if I have this function that's kind of crazy, we only have to look at 2x cubed to discuss the end behavior. Okay, so then we've learned a little bit of this in Algebra 2. So hopefully you learned there's an even dance where you either end up pointing up or pointing down. And then there's an odd dance that's more like disco, where one side's pointing up and one side is pointing down. So what we have figured out is to the right is always based upon that coefficient. So if your coefficient is positive, then to the right you're going to go up. If your coefficient is negative, then to the right you're going to go down. Once you have that figured out, if you're up to the right and it's even, then they're both going to go up. And if you're down to the right and it's even, then you're both going to go down. In the next one, again, if my coefficient is positive, my right side is going to go up. And if my coefficient is negative, my right side is going to go down. And then for odd functions, they go in opposite directions. So if I start with my right side up, then my left side has to go down. And here, because I started with my right side going down, then my left side is going to go up. So your right side always goes in the direction of your coefficients. So if we take a look at this example, it says describe the end behavior of each function. So again, I only have to be concerned about the highest exponent of x. And so do you see that the coefficient is positive? So that means that to the right, we're going to be going up. I don't know what's going to happen in the middle, but to the right, I'm going to be going up. And then my exponent is odd, meaning my degree is odd. My highest exponent for x is odd. So that means if I started up to the right, the odd functions do the odd dances. So that means to the left, I have to go down. So remember, this is saying what's happening as x goes to the right, what happens to y. So we would say as x goes to the right, meaning positive infinity, this is saying y is going to go up, so y also goes to positive infinity. And then here we're going to say what happens as x goes to the left. So as x goes to negative infinity, meaning the left, y is going to go down. And so down for y is going to also be negative infinity. So if we take a look at the second one, do you see that y equals negative 2x to the 6 is really all I'm worried about. So my coefficient is negative 2. So my coefficient is negative. So that means that my right-hand side has to go down. And then looking at my highest exponent, the exponent is even. And so even functions like parabolas either both end up going up or they both end up going down. So since this one went down to begin with, this one is also going to go down. So as I look to the right, meaning as x goes to positive infinity, my y value is going down, so y is going to negative infinity. And as I look to the left, as x goes to negative infinity, my y values are going down, so y is still going to negative infinity. So notice with an odd function, these are different signs, and with an even function, these are the same sign. So I'm going to pause this part of the video here. You go ahead and do 7 and 8, and we'll get started on that in part 3.